Hello everyone, and welcome to my Update US Gossip channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a powerful life update, Sister Wives Meri Brown wants to run and hide amid tensions over Coyote Pass with Kody and Janelle. In a surprising new post, Sister Wives star Meri Brown talked about learning to accept the discomfort in her life. She also shared some dirty details about her conflict with Kody Brown and her relationship with Janelle Brown, her former sister. It has been abundantly clear throughout Sister Wives Season 19 that Meri is turning a new page. She has been trying to make sense of her life without a plural family while also struggling to comprehend her newfound independence. Pushing herself to a new place of independence, Meri's been open with her followers about how she's dealt with her difficulties. Meri's working through a moment where she's seeing herself change in real time. In a new post, Meri opened up about the strength it takes to handle remaining calm in the unknown as things shift and turn around me, and leaning into all the emotions when really I just want to run, to hide, to scream. Even though Meri has gone through a lot in her life, plural marriage has brought a new level of understanding to the discomfort she feels living on her own. There is something raw and honest about letting myself just feel. Meri shared that it's extremely uncomfortable, but she's here for it despite the difficulty of handling dark emotions. In the midst of the drama at Coyote Pass, what Meri Brown's powerful new life update means. Despite Meri's efforts to keep her fans up to date on what's going on in her life, it's clear that there are some missing pieces that many people anticipate seeing in the second half of Sister Wives Season 19. Meri, who has been handling her split from Kody well and admitting that she is still changing, has been sharing her most intimate feelings with her fans. Meri has been trying hard to figure out what she wants from herself and what she needs from her environment as she has moved through this new chapter in her life. Sharing more about her discomfort is an interesting choice for the former sister wife, who has been trying to reconcile how she has lived her life with what she now knows. Meri's willingness to talk about how she's learning to accept uncomfortable feelings of darkness or despair and her efforts to share them are both positive developments. Meri has been doing an excellent job of confronting her discomfort head-on, which can't be easy for someone who wasn't taught to do so in their formative years. Knowing that she is stronger than her emotions. Our take on Meri getting over her need to run and hide. Despite the fact that Meri still has a lot to figure out, she has managed to get through this difficult time in a positive way. While she's doing her best to maintain her independence, Meri's working through a moment where she's seeing herself change in real time. Meri has been successfully navigating a difficult situation despite the fact that she has been living the same way for more than 30 years and switching to a new, more modern way of life. Meri appears to be aware that the only way out of her discomfort is to move forward, so she makes room for herself and her most difficult feelings. Sister Wives has long captivated audiences with its portrayal of the complex dynamics within the Brown family. Over the years, Kody Brown's persona has been at the center of many narratives, including one that paints him as being shy about having a favorite wife. Proponents of this narrative argue that Kody exhibits reserved or hesitant behavior when it comes to expressing favoritism, often attributing his demeanor to humility or a desire not to hurt anyone's feelings. However, a growing number of fans have stepped forward to debunk this narrative, presenting evidence and interpretations that challenge the idea that Kody's behavior is genuinely shy. Instead, they argue that the shy narrative is either a misinterpretation of deliberate strategy or a media-constructed storyline intended to soften what might otherwise be a more complex power dynamic within the family. In this analysis, we will delve into the origins of the shy favorite wife narrative, examine the counterarguments made by fans, and explore the broader implications of this debate on the portrayal of family relationships and leadership on the show. We'll also consider how production choices, selective editing, and fan culture contribute to shaping and reshaping this narrative over time. The origins of the shy narrative. The idea that Kody Brown is shy about having a favorite wife emerged in early seasons of Sister Wives when the family dynamics were more evenly balanced. In these initial portrayals, Kody was often depicted as a calm, measured figure who appeared reluctant to show overt favoritism among his wives. Some of his offhand comments and carefully moderated interactions were interpreted as signs that he was intentionally downplaying any preferential treatment. This portrayal was partly influenced by the network's desire to present the family in a harmonious light, even as underlying tensions simmered beneath the surface. However, as the series evolved and Kody's relationships with his wives began to shift, particularly with Robyn emerging as a central figure, viewers started noticing inconsistencies. Episodes that were previously edited to highlight Kody's gentle demeanor began to include moments where his actions suggested a more calculated strategy. Critics of the shy narrative pointed out that in certain key scenes, Kody's body language and tone seemed too deliberate to be attributed to mere shyness. For example, when discussing decisions that affected the family's finances or when managing conflicts, his statements were often assertive and even commanding, contrary to the notion of a reserved leader. Fans' evidence against the shy label. A substantial segment of the fan community has challenged the idea that Kody is simply shy about having a favorite wife. Instead, these fans argue that his behavior is a carefully constructed facade, one designed to manage public perception and mitigate criticism. Here are some key points raised by fans. Inconsistent behavior in private versus public settings. Fans have observed that while Kody may appear reserved in certain edited segments, off-camera, or in less polished moments, his behavior is far more assertive. Instances of him making decisive, even aggressive, comments during family meetings have been cited as evidence that his public shyness is a product of editing rather than genuine personality traits. Selective editing and production influence. Reality TV is well known for its selective editing, which can dramatically alter the audience's perception of a character. Many fans believe that the shy narrative was amplified by production choices that intentionally downplayed Kody's more dominant actions. In contrast, unedited clips and behind-the-scenes footage suggest that Kody is fully capable of expressing clear preferences and making bold decisions, behaviors that are inconsistent with the notion of shyness. Comparative analysis with other wives. When comparing Kody's interactions with different wives, fans note that his behavior is not uniformly shy. His more overt displays of favoritism, especially when interacting with Robyn, indicate a selective approach rather than an overall disposition of reticence. This observation suggests that any perceived shyness is situational and possibly a strategic choice rather than an inherent personality trait. Statements and interviews. In various interviews and confessional segments, Kody has spoken about the complexities of managing multiple relationships, sometimes admitting that it is challenging to balance all the wife's needs. However, he rarely describes his own behavior in terms of shyness. Instead, his language often implies a calculated attempt to be fair while also prioritizing certain decisions that align with his vision for the family. Fans argue that if he were truly shy about favoritism, he would be less inclined to engage in these decisive actions. The strategic dimension, managing public perception. One key argument put forth by fans is that Kody's shy narrative may be more about strategic image management than about his true personality. In the world of reality TV, where every action is under constant scrutiny, public figures often cultivate particular personas to navigate both internal family dynamics and external criticism. For Kody, portraying himself as humble and reserved could be a deliberate tactic to soften the perception of his decision-making. By framing his approach as cautious or modest, he can avoid accusations of overt favoritism that might alienate some viewers or provoke backlash from the wives. Moreover, this narrative can serve as a buffer during times of conflict. When tensions arise, a public persona of shyness might allow Kody to deflect some of the criticism by suggesting that he is not deliberately trying to hurt anyone. Fans, however, point out that such a narrative can be easily debunked by looking at the totality of his behavior, which, when unfiltered, reveals a man who is fully aware of his preferences and is not afraid to act on them. Broader implications for the Brown family. The debate over Kody's shy narrative is not merely an academic discussion, it has real implications for the internal dynamics of the Brown family. If the narrative is accepted at face value, it could serve to justify the status quo and deflect accountability from decisions that have led to long-standing tensions. On the other hand, if fans are correct in their assessment that Kody's behavior is more calculated than genuinely shy, it could lead to a re-evaluation of how power and favoritism are managed within the family. For the wives, particularly those who feel sidelined by Kody's preferential treatment, debunking the shy narrative can be a way to assert their own agency and demand a more transparent discussion about resource allocation and decision-making. It also forces the network and the producers to confront the reality that behind the carefully curated public image lies a complex web of interpersonal dynamics that cannot be easily simplified into labels like shy or reserved. Cultural and media perspectives. The discussion around Kody's behavior is emblematic of a broader cultural debate about authenticity versus image in modern media. In today's digital landscape, where every nuance of a public figure's behavior is analyzed and debated, the line between genuine personality and strategic performance is increasingly blurred. For fans of Sister Wives, this debate is not just about one man's character, it is a reflection of how reality TV constructs and manipulates personal narratives for entertainment. The shy narrative is one of many examples of how production choices can influence public perception, sometimes at the expense of the truth. Critics argue that when viewers are led to believe that a complex decision is the result of shyness rather than calculated strategy, they are being sold a sanitized version of events that minimizes the real issues at stake. For a family that has experienced deep internal divisions, understanding the true nature of Kody's behavior is crucial. It speaks to broader questions of accountability, power, and the ethics of image management in an industry that thrives on drama. Fan-driven debunking, evidence and arguments. The fan community has been instrumental in debunking the shy narrative through a combination of direct evidence, comparative analysis, and critical commentary. Some of the key points raised include: comparison with unedited footage. Fans have pointed to instances where unedited clips reveal a more assertive Kody who openly expresses his preferences. These clips serve as a counterpoint to the edited segments that have contributed to the shy narrative. By comparing different sources, fans argue that the full picture is one of deliberate decision-making rather than reticence. Social media testimonials. Platforms like Twitter and Reddit are filled with discussions where fans dissect Kody's behavior in various contexts. Many users share screenshots and video clips that contradict the shy narrative, noting that his tone and body language in private moments are not those of a timid individual. These grassroots efforts to compile evidence have led to a growing consensus among a segment of the fanbase that the narrative is more myth than reality. Analysis of interview responses. In interviews, when pressed about favoritism or his decision-making process, Kody's responses are often measured and confident rather than shy or apologetic. Fans interpret this as further evidence that his behavior is a calculated strategy rather than a genuine display of modesty. Contrasting narratives among wives. Some of Kody's wives have offered insights into his behavior in their confessional segments. These accounts, while sometimes contradictory due to the complexities of their relationships, often point to a pattern where Kody is more forceful in his decision-making than the shy label would suggest. Such statements add weight to the argument that his public persona is constructed rather than innate. Implications for future storylines and family dynamics. Debunking the shy narrative has broader implications for the future of Sister Wives. If the network and producers acknowledge that Kody's behavior is more strategic than genuinely shy, it could lead to a more transparent portrayal of the power dynamics within the family. For the wives, this could open up opportunities for more honest discussions about resource allocation, favoritism, and personal agency. It might also pave the way for new storylines that focus on accountability and genuine reconciliation, rather than relying on sanitized narratives that mask underlying conflicts. Furthermore, a shift in how Kody's character is presented could influence the broader cultural conversation about leadership in complex family structures. As viewers increasingly demand authenticity and accountability, the ability of the Browns to address these issues openly could redefine the show's legacy. Instead of being seen as a family that hides behind carefully crafted narratives, they might be perceived as a group willing to confront their challenges head-on, even if it means exposing uncomfortable truths.